Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
Well, you sent something over here. I know that you listen to Coast to Coast with George Snorri.
Yeah, exactly.
And, of course, Coast to Coast is the one who brought us Jason the Horse. If you remember the Classic Metal Show, we did Jason the Horse on the show.
That's right, and that was a classic episode. Well, this is not as classic as Jason the Horse. This is just one. I'll give you a little setup. I mean, I listen to Coast when I go to sleep every night. And the reason I listen to it is because it's kind of mindless and it, helps me to stop thinking about day-to-day life.
Sure.
I mean, it just kind of lets me get into an empty place and just veg out. But every once in a while, anybody that knows anything about this show, whether it's with George Norrie or with Art Bell back in the Art Bell days or whatever, knows that the crux, the main focus of this show has always started and stopped with UFOs. And with that, doing a call-in show based pretty much around UFOs and, aliens and whatnot, you get your fair share of crackpots that call in.
I mean, like the guy who told George Snorri about Jeff Keith of Tesla and how he saves animals?
Yeah, like that guy.
Sure.
Well, maybe a week ago, I guess I heard this one. George has this other total bore lady that calls into the show once a week to give her alien update.
All right.
She's like one of these people that goes around all these conferences talking about crop circles and all that stuff.
Sure.
Her name's Linda Moulton Howell.
Okay.
She's a total bore. I usually can't stand when she's on, but every once in a great while, because she talks about UFOs and crop circles and all that stuff, some real nut jobs will call in, and I just happened to catch this guy, and this guy, you talk about a nut job. It's scary that we're in the same world with this guy.
All right.
So check him out.
Next up, we go to Greenville, South Carolina. Alexander, it's your turn on Coast to Coast. Go ahead, Alexander.
Hello, Linda.
Yes.
This is Al McNeil. I'm calling from Greenville, South Carolina. I met you in 1967 in New York City.
Wow.
At the Commodore Hotel.
What was I doing?
You were.
Now you're getting bold, Linda.
You were a speaker.
What was I? I was a speaker.
You were a speaker, and you were mingling with the audience.
So she's been doing this for over 40 years?
Yeah, she's good at her craft.
Holy smokes. 40 years.
Who's been talking about UFOs for 40 years? How do you make money at that?
Well, she was speaking all the way back then.
Yeah, so she's got to be, 106?
Well, I'm going to assume that she might have been, I don't know what, maybe in her mid to late 20s or maybe even 30.
Yeah.
So, and that was 40 years ago, so she's like 70 now.
Yeah, she's some old lady.
Wow.
But yeah, don't necessarily focus in on her as much as the caller.
Okay.
Because this guy takes a drastic turn here in a second.
Well, this guy can't be any young spring chicken either if he saw her at a speaking engagement at the hotel.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you have a good memory. I've done so many conferences.
And I met your father.
Chet Moulton?
Yes, I met him when he was in Nightcap.
Well, no, he was never in Nightcap. He was director of aeronautics for the state of Idaho.
Oh, well, actually, then I had met I met Princess Moonow and Viv Dominus in 1967 in New York City.
Oh, that's great. How about a question here, though, Al?
And the question?
Yeah, let's hurry them along.
Let's move along, please.
Let's move along. I don't care who you've met along your life's journey.
Yeah, but what you're missing here is that George just opened up just an awful situation.
Sure.
The question is, there's a space station between Mars and Jupiter, which is controlled by the people that live on Mars.
Well,
Okay. And he knows this how?
He's going to tell you.
Uh-oh.
that's a speculative statement. There's certainly not scientific fact.
And another thing is there is a base on the moon that is on the far side of the moon, and it has people from all different groups and organizations. But another thing is,
Well, how do you know this, Alec?
But that would be in Pink Floyd speak, the dark side of the moon, my friend. The
Just
dark
like
side.
nobody's hanging up on my friend here. Instead, they're questioning his
Well, I mean, I would probably do the same thing. I would have to find out, well, how do you know all this?
Well, wait till you hear.
Scientific.
That's what I want to know.
I'm a contactee for Flying Saucers. I had my contact in 1952 in August 27th, 1952 in Oceanside, New York. And I now live in Greenville here in South Carolina.
And
I was trying to hide from the aliens.
Yeah, I had to move.
Yeah, I'm in the undercover program, so they can't contact me any longer. So I moved down south to be inconspicuous.
That's right.
In Greenville here in South Carolina.
and I assume you're still being contacted.
Yes, I am. I received a message from them. They have told me that the world governments better put their everything in perspective in order. And then the second thing they told me was the planet Earth is going to become telepathic overnight.
When?
They didn't say. They just said the whole planet Earth will become telepathic overnight.
So the people on Earth will become telepathic, or the Earth itself will become telepathic?
I'm assuming the people, but with this guy, there's no telling.
Sure. So the Earth, the actual Earth, is telepathically communicating with all the other planets.
That's right.
All right.
And it's got to be through the space station between what Mars and Jupiter, whatever.
Has this guy been smoking some of the clutch-related space grass?
Could be.
The planet Mars winks at me. Do you have that song by any chance?
I don't. I hate Clutch.
Well, I didn't ask you if you liked them. I just asked you if you had the song.
Nope, that's one I do not keep.
All right.
And they said it works on our planets. It'll work on the Earth.
Well, maybe so. All right, Alex. Well, thanks for all of that. Linda, you want to react to anything?
Well, I just want to say that over a long career as an investigative reporter and having interviewed, I think at this point, maybe 800 or 900 people in the human abduction syndrome over the last 20-some years, that what I began to see as a reporter is that there is a wide bell-shaped curve of information or lack of information in these interactions, and that lots of people feel like that they have been given some kind of truth, when in fact it seems to me that there is not a truth. There seems to be kind of this pointillism of all of these different downloads and all of these different people around the planet, and that in and of itself makes me suspicious about the motive and the agenda, because if we were dealing with something that wanted us to completely understand straightforwardly what they were and what the relationship was with this solar system and this planet, assuming that we are dealing with some sort of other advanced intelligence or intelligences, it seems to me it could be a much more straightforward communication. And I am only trying to give a context that there's an awful lot of material out there that I don't think has anything to do with the truth, but is part of a pattern of download of very strange information person by person.
So she's referring to this information that people are getting telepathically or otherwise as downloads?
Yes.
Downloads?
The downloads.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So this guy, now, doesn't it make you wonder about people like this, that they actually go through their lives believing these kind of things?
Yeah, how's he not locked up?
Yeah, it's just bizarre. I mean, how does this guy live a normal existence, goes to work, earns a paycheck, pays his bills, and not be monitored or, be kept in a home somewhere.
Maybe he keeps it on the down low because the aliens told him not to bring it out, but now he's toward the end of his life, so he's just sharing it.
But what's so funny, though, is that these people always speak about this with such great conviction. I mean, they're absolutely, positive that what they believe is really the truth.
But how funny was this guy? He had a whole scenario built.
Yep, that there's a space station out there between Mars and the moon.
Yeah, but no, Mars and Jupiter or Saturn and Jupiter or something.
Right. Wow.
There's a space station on the moon, and then there's a satellite out there between like Jupiter and Saturn or whatever.
Well, maybe the guys in Pink Floyd really knew what they were talking about when they wrote Dark Side of the Moon.
Maybe these same people talked to David Gilmour.
They could have.
Might have.
To channel that information, I'll meet you on the dark side of the moon.
Hey, Roger, come here. We're going to tell you something, and it's going to make you millions. But at the same time, it's really sending a signal that the Earth is almost ready.
Yeah. So, yeah, because don't they sing that in the line, I'll meet you on the dark side of the moon?
Yep, sure do.
So where are they meeting?
I don't know. We'd have to ask that guy.
Well, obviously they're meeting at that space station.
That's right.
So, I don't know. There might be something to what he's saying. I mean, pop culture has a tendency to speak a lot of truths.
Yeah, so there you go.
And the guys in Pink Floyd and Alan Parsons, they may have known something.
They could very well have. But how do you like that guy?
Well, that's pretty wild.
Thanks for checking out the Best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.